Колеги, доброго.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. We continue our working day, and today, in the framework of Spokesman of Peaceful Life project, we are going to speak about the days of Lugansk Oblast in Kyiv. These days will be held on the 15th until 17th of March. And the representatives of Oblast Council and activists will inform us on the problems and also about the opportunities and possibilities and prospects of Lugansk. These days, the opening will be held on the 15th of March, and in the Chamber of Commerce of Ukraine, in the framework of forum that is called Lugansk Oblast Prospects of Development and Opportunities. So the days of Lugansk, these are cultural programs, and also now we are going to speak via Skype with Georgiy Tuka. He is the head of Civil and Military Administration. So first, video on this forum. To the attention of businessmen of Lugansk Oblast, we invite you to take part in the forum that is called Lugansk Oblast Prospects of Development and New Opportunities. It will be held on the 15th and 17th of March, and you can contact us, and we restore Lugansk and strengthen Ukraine. So, Mr. Tuka, could you tell us in more detail about this economic forum and what is the main aim of this event? Good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. And unfortunately, I can't see you now, and it's difficult to speak without watching. And what is the aim of this event? Me personally, I told that all of us, both those who live in Lugansk and all the citizens of Ukraine, suffer from those ideas that are provided by the media. And we suffer here in Lugansk, and I believe also in the rest of the territory of Ukraine. What I am talking about. Unfortunately, in many settlements and towns, they see Lugansk as the territory torn by war and ruled by separatists. Unfortunately, the residents of Lugansk have some ideas, and they believe that there are some rapists and killers and people like that. And this separation, this is the reason of the events that we see now. In order to ruin stereotypes, we are going to hold this event in Kyiv, and it will comprise two directions. First one, economic, and the second, social. The aim is to show to the whole Ukraine that, firstly, Lugansk is Ukraine. It's not a separatist territory. It is a part of a Ukrainian state, and here people do not want to separate themselves from Ukraine. And people in Lugansk, they want peace. Lugansk is unfortunately a ruined economic potential that needs investment, and we have investment potential. So these are the main messages we want to communicate to peaceful population of our state. This forum will start with the opening in the Chamber of Commerce of Ukraine at 11 on the 15th of March. And more than 40 companies, both production companies and agrarian companies, they want to participate. They represent Lugansk in this forum. And I hope that those entrepreneurs and businessmen that will attend this event, I believe they will be surprised with the potential opportunities and openness to communication, and also the opportunity to communicate. And in the evening, we will have a concert provided by Philharmonic, and it will be a wonderful concert of Lugansk Symphonic Orchestra. And we want to show by this event that all cultural institutions of Lugansk, they are with Ukraine. They are all in Ukraine. It was hard to start it, that this orchestra, this symphony orchestra, they, with their instruments, through some obstacles, one person from this orchestra went to Severodonetsk, and the new history of the orchestra started there. And now they have 68 performers in this orchestra. And they got official invitation, and they will give their concerts in Vienna. And for the next 2 days, on the 16th and 17th, they will perform in Frankofi Theater. There will be some plays, and this theater also from Lugansk, and there are 40 people in this theater, and also started with one person who decided, this person decided that they cannot exist in the occupied territories, and then in some time all the staff of this theater, they went to Ukraine, and also other performers from Lugansk, they also decided to support, and they joined. And I believe that everyone who attend these events, they will like these events. And you know that I attended theater a lot, and in Lugansk and Kyiv, and this theater is very professional. It's not
local amateurs.
These are not amateurs. So about the representatives of economic, the representatives of music theater, we are speaking about the press conference, and on the 14th of March there will be a press conference, so you can follow the events. And did you hold this event? And maybe these were the representatives of the civil and military administration and some activists. And the second question will be later. This event is held for the first time. Why did we do this? I explained already. And maybe there will be some organizational problems, because we don't have experience in the organization of such events. But my colleagues who participate and organize this event, I would like to thank for support to the Ministry of Culture. And I hope by joint effort We will do everything possible in order to avoid any troubles and misunderstanding in the course of these events. Thank you, Georgiy. Do you have questions or comments? Please introduce yourself first. Good afternoon, Georgiy. Sergei Malerchuk, UCMC. Thank you for this. Thank you for joining our program, Spokesman of Peaceful Life. And this event will show that people want peace in Lugansk. And I have a question to you. What international organizations are interested in this event? And what is the general number of the participants expected at this in this event? You mean participants from the side of Lugansk Oblast or guests? The general number of participants, both guests and performers. About the general number, it is very difficult to say. There's no answer. Because there are many institutions, commercial institutions. These are about 40 institutions. It's an economic development. And parallel to this, there can be also some partners that cooperate with Lugansk Oblast, and they want to represent their services in this event. And as to international organizations, practically all organizations, renowned organizations, they want to attend, and there will be also a signing of a joint memorandum between Lugansk Civil and Military Administration and international donor organizations. And the aim is, it's not formal, it's principle. At the end of January, I had a meeting with the representatives of prominent and powerful international organizations, and jointly we got the conclusion that we need to coordinate our actions. Unfortunately, our previous experience was not very good, that each worked in its own area, and there were some instances when we didn't coordinate our efforts, and we solved the same problems. In order to avoid this doubling of our efforts, our joint efforts, we decided to create something like a coordination council. Do you have other questions? Sergei Kotnikov, Women and Fortune, Heavenly 100 Memory Foundation. The Ministry of Culture of Ukraine provided an order, Ukrainian Donbas, as to cultural events of Donetsk and Lugansk Oblasts. And it's very pleasant to see people from Lugansk here in Kyiv. But the question is about the two-way movement. Transport is very important. Our fund is also involved in cultural events in the east of Ukraine. Are you ready to support the address to the Ministry of Infrastructure and Railway as to the railway cars, musicians and performers and some museum workers, and with the expositions, and also headed by mayors, that they can visit some towns of Donetsk and Lugansk, and they can present their opportunities there. And also Lugansk and Donetsk representatives, they can demonstrate throughout Ukraine their opportunities and possibilities. Thank you for your question. I like this. From the very start, from coming to Lugansk, I told about the experience, and personal experience is the best arm against myths. And we work on these issues during last year, and we have a lot of performers from all over Ukraine, not only in Severodonetsk. And in 8 months of my staying in Lugansk, I visited many events, concerts, performances. Maybe I attended more than during all my life in Kyiv. So this number is nearly maybe the same. And the day before yesterday, we had a group from the other region that provided some performance in Stanitsa Luganskaya. And yesterday, the representatives of this team, they were visiting, and also Bukovina will be attended by our children's concert group, and we have cultural exchange, not only cultural exchange. Maybe we have a goal to continue. It was started by Gennady Moskal. I mean, exchange of cultural exchange of children. And in summer, first group of children from Lugansk, we sent them to Bukovina. There were 33 places, and some people were frightened to send their children there. They believed in the legends and myths about people there. They believed that terrible people live there. They believed in some terrible myths. And first 9 children came, and then people wanted to send their children, 35 children, and 7 of them, they wanted to stay in Bukovina. Then there was a third group, and for 35 places, there were 53 people who wanted to go. So personal experience is the best way to learn, and it's best than any propaganda. We have a wonderful example when, due to our friends from Lithuania, more than 10 children of Lugansk, they study in Lithuania. They will be, study there for 1 year in schools, and they live in a children's camp. They communicate with their counterparts, and also I had Skype connection with them, and I expected that children will cry because it's far away. They are separated from their families, but then Skype connection started, and I saw children who smiled, and they didn't have any objections. They liked the situation, and the cultural program also was to their liking. And one boy, he was about 11 or 12. He showed, he said, "Glory to Ukraine." And I believe that those children, they won't be the victims of the propaganda about against NATO, and these children, that they are our future, and in 3-5 years they will decide the most important issue, whether to take arms in their hands or to take computers or musical instruments in their hands. Time goes fast, and I believe we should work with our children, with our future generation, and you understand that it's just in 1 second these will be our citizens. Thank you very much. And one brief question. While organizing the festival, it's very important to have places for those people who where people can stay during the festival. And while promoting the culture, Ukrainian culture in Lugansk, maybe your administration can help in this. And we work with the local government in Mariupol. And what is your assessment? Whether civil and military administration should be in places, because sometimes our activists, they feel that there is a limitation of work from the side of former civil servants or local government. And we don't mean, of course, Mr. Żebrowski and Tuka. And I will start with 2 questions. I will start with the last one.
Pavlo Ivanovich Zhebrivsky and me, from the very first day until this day, we were we were against the elections in Lugansk and Donetsk regions. And despite our recommendations from our Western partners, both of us remain being against the elections. As concerned the first question about placement of creative teams, of course, we always have a place to host, to accommodate the creative teams on stage performance groups. Severodonetsk and Lysychansk Rubizhny are not so big cities as Kyiv or Lviv. Zaporizhzhia, Dnipropetrovsk. So we just ask you to tell us in advance so that we have time for arrangement of creative events and performances. When Kyiv Symphonic Orchestra of National Instruments came to add the performers, they were afraid to go. And they told about that. They were afraid not about military actions, they were afraid of what response from the audience they may receive. They thought that someone may throw eggs or potatoes into them. I was among the audience, and I saw the reaction, the response. The audience applauded them standing. Every composition was met with applause. And Kyiv musicians, they were shocked with so good reception. This is how the stereotypes are dismantled. Yemis Maria Crisis Media Center, my question concerns the future forum. In Kyiv, there are many entrepreneurs who will be interested, and there are many people who are not linked with business, but they would like to come to Philharmonia to listen to the concert. How can they get to the concert? Should they buy tickets? No, tickets are not sold. This event is free of charge, absolutely. The invitations have been printed and they can be received from the Ministry of Culture. Final question. Being a person who always who reside permanently in Lugansk region, when do you think Kyiv days will be hosted by Lugansk region, which should be under control of Ukraine in fullest control, full control of Ukrainian government over the territory of Lugansk? I am not an extrasense, I am not Vanga as concerned my native Kyiv days, holding them in Lugansk region. I will be glad to hold them tomorrow. So you are welcome. It is normal to arrange these events, and we will have crowds of people. The halls will be overcrowded when. I know that Kyiv may be proud of its performers, and many times I saw how our Ukrainians who are not young, when they come to Kyiv and they visit Kyiv for the first time, it was a surprise to me. It was before the war. I looked through the statistics in Donbass, but this situation is inherent to all Ukrainian regions. 87% of Donbass residents have never lived their territory of Lugansk region, and 98% have never been to other countries. The situation is like that all over Ukraine, and my native Kyiv is a twin city of Severodonetsk, my second native city. Thank you, Mr. Tuka. That's the end of our Skype connection. We'll meet you. Goodbye. Thank you, colleagues, for being with us. The next briefing in the scope